And then you're just going to start to tuck the chin gently in towards the chest, allowing the back of the neck to elongate, perhaps noticing any sensations running up and down the spine. And then softly begin to open your eyes. Just gently allow yourselves to readjust to the lights, readjust to the vibrancy and the colors of the space around you. And just allowing yourself to lift the heads. Wonderful. So we're going to come into the physical practice now, guys. If you'd like to put on your music, you can do so. Just going to move your cushions or your pillows to one side and we'll get going. So I want you to start. We're going to stay in a seated position to begin, but you can change this up. So if you're sitting cross-legged and you want a little bit of a change, feel free to come to rest onto the shins like so. If you want to take it a little bit further, you can always come into what we call a hero pose. So same kind of concept here. We're going to take the feet out to the sides. So your sit bones are coming all the way down to the mat and your knees are touching. Now, if you do suffer from knee injuries, this does feel quite intense for the knees. So maybe think about just allowing the feet to come onto the sit bones here so it takes a little bit of the pressure off. Or by all means, you can just extend the legs, maybe sitting on a block just to give yourself a bit more support for the spine, or cross-legged, however you want to be. And we're just going to start to work into our shoulder mobility, guys. So I want you to take your fingertips and bring them onto your shoulders here, like so. And we're just going to start to create circles with the elbows and really start to open up into the shoulders, into the upper back. So as you breathe in, you're going to bring the elbows towards one another and lifting them up. As you exhale, you'll softly release them down and back, creating these lovely circles in the air. Try to keep the ribs from flaring outwards. You want to draw them in, so taking all of this motion from the shoulders rather than kind of flexing into the spine. So breathe in, elbows together, reaching them up. As you exhale, releasing down and back. Let's take 3 more rounds of this together. Breathing in. And breathing out. 2 more, inhale. Exhale, drawing them down and back. Let's take 1 more together. Inhale. And exhale, releasing down and back. Beautiful. We're just going to start to release the hands now. You're going to interlace them in front of you. So bringing those hands together. Palms can be together or slightly apart, depending on how comfortable it feels. We're going to extend the arms out in front of you now. Now try to keep the back nice and upright. We don't want to be leaning too far forwards. We want this stretch to be really coming from the shoulders and the upper back here. So pushing the tops of the hands away from you. Holding this for a couple breaths. One more inhale. As you breathe out, you're going to flip the palms now, the face outwards, pushing the hands away. Breathe and reaching both arms up to the sky. Now we're just going to take a little side stretch. So you're going to take the hands over to the right hand side and just draw them. So you're starting to work into the lateral side, all the way through the torso here. So getting a lovely lateral stretch rather. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to come back to center and take it over to the other side. So reaching over, beautiful, getting that lovely lateral stretch. You start to notice this perhaps through the torso, maybe all the way up into the arm. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, come back to center, and you're going to take the hands down to the mat in front of you, and just start to make your way into a nice tabletop pose. So really take your time here, guys, just finding this nice connection with the ground. You're going to really press down through the hands, pressing down through the shins, the tops of the feet, and allowing yourself to move freely. So often in yoga, we feel this pressure to kind of just arrive in a pose, that's it, you're perfect. I want you to really notice, really explore how it feels to be on the mat, how it feels to be moving within the body. So you might want to just gently rock the hips from side to side, perhaps you feel quite tight in the glutes and hips. You might want to move a little bit more if you've got a bit more energy, creating circles with the hips, scooping them towards the edges of the mat. And this is actually going to start to help to open up into those wrists, but we're going to come into that a little bit later. And maybe you feel kind of tighten the shoulders a little more. So you want to roll through the shoulders, perhaps rotate the head back into the neck. You can also start to mobilize through the spine, so taking a few gentle ripples up and down the spine, creating that sense of flow within the body. Beautiful. Now, I always tell my students or encourage my students to close their eyes when we do this, when we move a bit more freely. I want you to kind of draw your focus away from what it looks like for me or what you think it should look like, and really allow yourself to move freely in the space, however it looks. And this is going to be different each and every day. A different part of your body is going to feel tight or sore. You might just want to gently rock the hips from side to side. Some days you might want to kind of really protract through the spine and wriggle it up and down. And just honoring that, allowing yourself to move in a unique way. And maybe tucking the toes under, stretching out the soles of the feet, stretching out the toes. That always feels really, really nice, especially if you've been on your feet a lot. Maybe nice to show a little bit of love. All right, let's take another deep breath in. As you breathe out, I want you to start to make your way back into that tabletop. So we're now going to be drawing the shoulders just above the wrists here. So we're stacking the joints nice and evenly. Softness in the elbows. We don't want to be locking out the elbows here. Have a little bit of a softness. And begin to externally rotate the upper arms inwards. So we're starting to create this nice engagement through those upper arms. Now, we're going to come into what we call cat-cow poses, just to really help open up the spine, open up the front side of the body. So as you breathe in, I want you to lift the tailbone up towards the sky. You're going to drop the belly down and scoot the chest through the upper arms, gazing forwards. As you breathe out, you're going to start to tuck the tailbone under, gently round up through the spine, chin to chest, pressing down through the hands. Breathing in, tailbone's going to lift up, belly's going to drop down, scoot the chest through and up. Exhale, tailbone's going to tuck under, rounding, protracting through the spine, chin to chest, pressing down through the hands. Wonderful, let's do one more. Inhale, tailbone lifts, belly's going to drop down, scoot the chest through and up. Exhale, tailbone's going to tuck under, rounding up through the spine, chin to chest, pressing down through the hands. Beautiful. We're just going to come back to that tabletop pose. I want us to do a little bit of a thread the needle, so we're going to open up into the shoulders a little bit more. So let me just switch sides so you can see this a little bit better. Keep the left hand where it is. As you breathe in, I want you to reach the right arm up to the sky, drawing the shoulder back, and you're sending the chest to follow. Really spiral open the chest. As you breathe out, start to feed that right arm underneath the left. You're going to drop the shoulder down towards the mat, drop the head down towards the ground as well, coming into a nice shoulder opener. Now, once you're here, guys, roll slightly to the right-hand side. You might want to keep the left hand where it is, maybe extend it forwards, or if you want to take it a little bit farther today, you can take the arm up and around the lower back, maybe even grabbing hold over the top of the right thigh. Eyes closed, holding this here for a couple breaths. One more inhale. As you breathe out, let's bring that left hand back onto the mat. You're going to gently take that arm back from underneath, and you're going to reach it back up to the sky. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to take the right hand back down to the mat. Beautiful. I'll do the same on the other side. So right hand stays planted where it is. Inhale, reach the left arm up, spiral the chest open. Exhale as you feed that left arm underneath the right. Draw the shoulder down towards the mat, draw the head down towards the ground. Once you're here, guys, roll slightly to the left-hand side, accentuate that stretch. And then options as always with this right hand. You can either keep it where it is, maybe extend it forwards, maybe wrap it around the lower back, grabbing hold on the top of the left thigh. And we're going to take this for 3 more breaths. One more inhale. Exhale, let's take the hands back onto the mat. Gently bring yourselves back up, and you're going to reach that left arm tall once again. And then bring the hand down to the ground. Beautiful. So you're back in that tabletop pose. We're going to work into the wrists like we did last time, because I know the wrists are really important to kind of protect, and especially as baristas or working in the coffee industry, you want to make sure that your wrists are nice and strong and we're not injuring them. So let's come into a few of those exercises together. Let's start by pointing your fingers in towards one another. So you're going to plant the hands down, fingers are facing towards one another with a gap in between. And you're just going to start to rock from side to side. So try to keep the palms grounded. We don't want to be lifting them up like this as we lose a lot of the stretch. Try to keep the whole hand resting into the ground. And just simply shifting the weight from one hand to the other. A couple times on each side. Beautiful. And then we're going to change directions with the fingers. So we're going to start to point them back towards the knees. So once again, keep the hands planted down here and ever so gently just start to sink those hips back towards the heels. Now, options. You can either stay in stillness if that's enough of a stretch. You might want to gently pulse slightly, so easing off the stretch and then entering back into the stretch. Totally up to you. And you should start to notice this through the inside of the arm, into the wrist particularly. Good stuff. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, so you're just going to bring those hands back to face forwards. Just one more little wrist exercise. I want you to bring your hands into fists, thumbs onto the outer edges, so we're not kind of crushing our thumbs in between our fingers. Bring the knuckles together, so kind of like fist pump both hands together, and we're going to rest the tops of the hands down onto the mat. So you're going to be in this sort of position, elbows nice and bent here, almost even touching the ground. And what I want you to do is by keeping the tops of the hands, I'm just going to remove that, keep the tops of the hands grounded, start to lift the elbows and lengthen through the arms. Now you're not going to get very far, the arms are going to stay very much bent, but you're going to start to really open into the tops of the hands and tops of the wrists. Holding this here for a couple breaths. One more inhale. As you breathe out, let's start to release that. Come back to sit on the heels. Just give the hands a bit of a shake out, wiggle the fingers, maybe interlacing them again, just rotating through the wrists a little bit more. Wonderful. Good stuff. So we're going to bring the hands back onto the mat, coming into your tabletop pose. I want you to, again, find that good connection with the ground, get a really good grip into those fingertips. This is going to help to take a lot of the pressure out of the wrist as we come into a gentle flow. So try and grip it as hard as you can, even to the point where the skin around the nails goes a little bit white. That's where we need to be today. We're going to tuck the toes under, start to lift the knees off the mat. We're going to hover the knees a couple inches, start to really engage through the core. Hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin to lengthen up into your downward facing dog. So coming into a nice upside down V shape. As you do that, guys, allow the head just to relax down. You're going to send the chest slightly back towards those thighs. And I want you to just pedal out the legs a little bit here. So bending one knee and then the other. Just beginning to open up into those calves, open up into the hamstrings. Maybe give the hips a gentle sway from side to side. That might look quite nice. Allow the head just to relax, shoulders away from the ears. Beautiful. Alrighty, so start to find a sense of stillness here. Have a slight bend into those knees. So we don't need our legs to be super straight here. We want to protect the spine. We want the spine to be long. So if it helps you, bend the knees a little bit more. Send those sit bones tall, head nice and relaxed. We're going to lift the heels up, guys. Start to ripple the body forward. It's coming through into a high plank pose. So as you come into that high plank, we're rounding slightly through the upper back. We're not allowing the hips to stay nice and high. We're tucking them under, core engaged, glutes engaged. Now I want you to drop the knees, untuck the toes. You're going to bring the elbows in towards the ribcage, allow them to graze past the ribcage as you lower the body all the way down to the mat, nice and slowly. Good stuff. Now once you're here, you're going to take the hands in line with the shoulders, but off of the mat, so a little bit wider. Come up into those fingertips. And we're going to come into a few cobras to really open up into the spine. So breathing in, pressing down to the tops of the feet, Start to peel the body off of the mat, gazing forwards. Exhale to lower back down. Let's take 2 more. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale to fold. 1 more. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale to fold. Good stuff, guys. Take the hands back onto the mat, underneath the shoulders, elbows in towards the ribcage. You're going to tuck the toes under, press up through the hands, come back into that tabletop, then extend through the legs, coming into your downward facing dog. Wonderful. From here, I want you to start to take the right leg to the sky. Nice and slowly, just lifting that leg nice and tall. You're going to push the toes down towards the mat, push the heel away. Notice what that does for the left leg, that stretch, that opening into the left leg. Now, bend that front of that top knee, bringing it in towards the chest. You're going to shift the weight forwards, gently plant the foot down in between the hands. Now, if you need to help this along, don't worry, just grab hold of the ankle, softly plant the foot so it's nice and in between those hands, nice and parallel here. You're then going to drop the bottom knee, untuck the back toes. This front knee is tracking above that front ankle. And then you're just going to bring the hands to the heart space. Good stuff. I'm actually going to switch sides so you can see the next set of poses a bit better. So you're here with the thumbs in towards the chest. Start to send those hips forward slightly. So you should begin to notice a lovely opening into that left hip and down the left quads. But then you're going to reach the arms up towards the sky. And I want you to take the arms behind the ears, guys, coming into a nice gentle back bend. So we're not flaring the ribs here, knit the ribs in, but we're lengthening through the spine as we tilt backwards. Beautiful, so holding that here. Gazing up towards the ceiling, 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. As you breathe out, I want to bring your body back to center. Take the hands to the heart. We're then going to find a little twist. So I want you to bring your left elbow to the outer edge of the right knee. Find that connection first. Then you're going to stack those elbows one on top of the other and start to twist from the middle spine upwards. Nice axial rotation here. Holding this for 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. As you exhale, let's come back to center. Take the hands down to the mat, and you're just going to start to straighten out that front leg, working into those hamstrings. So, as you straighten out that front leg, you're going to lift the toes off the mat, resting onto the heel, and take the hands back in towards the body. Maybe in line with that back knee if you can. Now, options here. This isn't enough of a stretch for you, enough of an opening for those hand knees, for the backs of the legs. Feel free to stay here. If you do want to take it a little bit farther, you can always sink those hips down towards the back heel and come into a half split. Whichever option you're in, we're going to take a deep breath in, lengthening through the chest, gazing forwards. Exhale to just fold a little bit deeper over that front leg. If you're in your half splits and you'd like to bring the forearms down alongside that front leg, you can do so as well. And let the head bow down. 2 more breaths here. 1 more inhale. As you breathe out, let's bring that right foot down on the ground. You're going to draw the knee forward so again it's tracking that front ankle. Frame the foot with your hands. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. You're going to step back into a high plank pose here, guys. Now, start to drop the knees, the chest to chin, bring the elbows in towards ribcage, but you're keeping the tailbone elevated here. Breathe in, tops of feet are going to ground down. You're going to slide the chest through and up. You're coming into a low cobra, elbows back, shoulders back. Breathing out as you tuck the toes under, drive the hips back towards those heels. Maybe pause for a moment in the little child's pose, stretching out the soles of the feet. And then extending back up into your downward facing dog. Brilliant. So we're going to take this on the other side. Let's lift the left leg to the sky now. So nice and tall, 3-legged dog, this is called. You're going to point the toes down towards the mat, push the heel away. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, let's bring that left knee in towards the chest. Softly planting the foot down in between the hands. Again, help it along if you need to. You're then going to drop the back knee, Untuck the back toes and start to bring your hands up to your heart space. Wonderful. So thumbs in towards the sternum, the center of the chest here. Sending those hips forward slightly. Just notice that opening to the right hand side, down the quad as well. Now, you're going to reach both arms up to the sky. Again, arms are going to come out behind the ears, and we're going to come into a nice gentle back bend. Try not to dump the weight into the lower spine. We don't want to be causing any injury here. I want you to think about lengthening and then bending, rather than just kind of dumping the weight like that and leaving with the head. We're lifting up and out of the lower body and then bending backwards. So let's do that together. Inhale, reaching nice and tall. Exhale, setting the chest a little bit higher, holding this for a couple breaths. One more inhale. As you breathe out, come back to center. Take the hands back to the heart space. We're now going to hook the right elbow to the outer edge of the left knee. So find that connection first. Stack the elbows, hands still in towards the chest, and we're going to take that twist. Beautiful. Just start to notice this in the glutes. Take another deep breath in. As you breathe out, let's come back to center. Take the hands down towards the mat. And again, we're coming to that lovely hamstring stretch. So we're going to straighten out the front leg. Lift the toes, rest onto the heel. Hands are going to come back in line with the back knee. Again, either stay here, or if you want to take it a bit further, you can always sink the hips closer down, coming into a half split. Inhale to lift through the chest. Exhale to fold deeper. Allow the head just to bow down. Couple breaths here. Again, if you're in your half splits and you want to rest the forearms against alongside the front leg, you can do that as well. Take another deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to bring that foot down to the ground, draw the knee forwards, frame the foot with your hands, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, stepping into your high plank pose. And from here, guys, let's drop the knees, the chest, chin, elbows into the ribcage. Breathe and slide the chest through and up, low cobra, elbows back. Exhale, tuck the toes under, drive the hips back towards the heels, and extend up into your downward facing dog. Good stuff. From here, we're just going to bend the knees a little bit, gaze between the hands, and start to walk the feet behind the hands, making your way up towards the front edge of the mat. And allow the body just to hang completely heavy. So maybe taking a gentle sway from side to side. Perhaps with your arms long, maybe grab hold by the elbow. And allow the body to just really relax, the upper body just hang completely heavy. If you do feel open in the backs of the legs and you want to take it a little bit deeper, you can grab hold of the ankles and just bring the upper body closer down towards the legs. Totally up to you. Take another inhale. As you breathe out, you're going to release the hands down towards the ground. We're going to come into a hand under foot forward fold. Sounds a bit funny, but I'm going to demonstrate for you guys. So bring your feet about hip distance apart. You're going to bend the knees as much as you need to allow your hands to go underneath your feet. So your knees might be here. You might be able to do this with a little straight leg. Totally fine either way. Lifting one foot off the mat. You're going to slide your hands underneath. So if you can see that, the palm of the hand is facing upwards. Slide it under here, pressing down through the toes, and then take the other hand underneath the foot as well, the other foot. Pressing down. So you want to start to send the weight away from the back body in towards the feet here, pressing down through those toes. Now you're going to lift the crown of the head, lengthen through the spine, gaze forwards. And start to straighten the legs a little bit more. You might not get them super straight, but just a little bit more, so you start to feel the activation through the backs of the legs. And then allow the body to fold. So you're allowing the upper body to fold here. Elbows out to the sides, head heavy. Beautiful. Holding this for a couple breaths. One more inhale. As you breathe out, you need to release the hands from underneath the feet. We're going to start to heel toe those feet out to the edges of the mat here. So you're pointing the toes out to the sides. And then start to lower the hips down towards the ground. Coming into a little yogi squat. So I want you to just have a little play around here as well. So you're just going to gently rock from side to side. Just wiggling the knees in and out, lifting the toes, lifting the heels. Trying to keep the spine nice and long, chest lifted. Now, if you want to grab hold of your block or your books, we're going to hold this pose for a couple breaths, and it might be quite nice for you to kind of support through the lower back by sitting on the edge of your books or your block. And you can have this on different heights depending on how high you'd like it to be. You're going to send the knees out in the same direction as the toes here, and allow the chest to be long. Now from the side you can see the spine, we're not rounding through the back here, we're trying to keep the spine nice and long, sending the sit bones directly down to the mat. Either have the arms just resting out like so, or you can bring your hands to your heart space, maybe gently pressing the knees out to the edges of the elbows. And I want you to just close down your eyes. We're going to take 3 to 5 lovely deep breaths in here. This is a really great way, guys, to release all the pressure from the back. So especially if you're kind of on your feet all day, working, maybe even lifting heavy objects, our backs can feel quite tight, especially if you're kind of bending down to pick stuff up or vice versa. Really start to ease that pressure off. So holding this for a few more breaths. One more inhale. As you breathe out, I want you to just start to take the hands down towards the mat, opening your eyes. If you can, removing the block, you come into a few little side stretches. So, I want you to place your right hands down in front of your right foot, pressing the arm into the knee here. So you're going to open up into the side. And as you do so, you're going to reach the opposite arm up to the sky and take the gaze and the chest actually to follow. Wonderful. You start to feel this in the back, really opening up through the front body as well. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to take that left hand or the other hand down in front of the other foot, pressing the arm into the leg and reach up through the other arm. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, taking that hands down towards the ground. Beautiful. You're going to lift the hips up slightly, guys. Start to heel toe those feet back together. Start to drop the sit bones down towards the mat. And as you do so, I want you to start to extend through those legs. Bring the hands out behind you for a bit of support. Just give the legs a bit of a wiggle. Wonderful. So just rocking the knees a little bit from side to side. Easing off through those legs. Wonderful. Now from here, we're going to come into a couple forward folds. So again, if you want to grab hold of a strap or a towel or whatever you have handy, now's a good time to do so, just so you have a bit more support, a bit more length for your arms as we reach forwards. We're going to bring the right knee in towards the chest. And you're going to place the sole of the right foot onto the inside of the left thigh. So from the front, it's like this. Foot comes onto the inside edge of the leg. Knee will drop out to the sides, and I want you to point these extended toes up towards the sky. So still getting some activation through the back of the leg. If this feels quite intense for that knee, you can always prop or support that bent leg with a block or your books, just allowing it to rest underneath the thigh or even under the knee itself. So you always have that option. Then from the inhale, reach both arms up to the sky. As you breathe out, you're going to reach forwards. I want to try and start from the belly moving upwards. So we're not kind of reaching with the crown of the head, because that will cause you to round through the back and start causing a lot of flexion through the back. We want to be getting this sensation through the legs. So start by trying to draw your belly button towards your toes. Again, if you want to use your strap, you can wrap it around the foot. I'm just going to draw yourselves forward like so. Try to keep the spine long. You might just get here, that might be your range of motion, totally fine. You might be able to reach a little bit further today. Eyes closed, and let's hold this for a couple more breaths. One more inhale. As you breathe out, let's start to take those hands back in towards the body. Gently lifting yourselves back up. You're going to come into a nice little side twist now. So I want you to place your right hand underneath the right knee or thigh. Bring it up in towards your body. Left hand is then going to grab hold of the shin, and you're going to take the foot over the leg, over that left leg. Sit bones nice and round. So let me show you from the side here. I'm just rotating around my mat today. You're going to bring that foot over. Right hand's going to come out behind you for support. So you're going to come up into your fingertips. It's going to help to keep the spine long. Now, inhale, reach the left arm tall. As you breathe out, you're going to wrap that arm around that front knee, placing the hand onto the thigh, and we're going to twist and take the gaze over that back shoulder. Again, using this back hand, guys, to support you. So we don't want to be rounding through the back here. We want to be nice and tall, shoulders away from the ears. Taking that lovely spinal twist. Another couple breaths. One more inhale. As you breathe out, we're going to take the hands over to the opposite side and take a nice counter twist. So hands will come over to the left and gaze over the left shoulder. And then make your way back to center. Unravel the legs. Give them a bit of a shake out of your knees. This time you're going to bring the left knee in towards your body. Hug it in. And then the sole of the left foot is going to come onto the inside of the right thigh. Again, so just allowing me to drop to the side. If you do want to support yourself through that left knee, feel free to place a block underneath there or your books. Or a cushion, that might feel more comfortable. Again, we're flexing through these toes. So you're pointing them out towards the sky. As I told you, I'm just kind of flipping around all over the place here today. Feel free to grab your strap, grab your tie, whatever you're using. You're going to inhale and reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forwards again. Remember, we're drawing from the belly upwards, not from the crown of the head. So try and bring that belly button towards the toes. Grabbing hold of whatever's available, maybe the shins, the ankles, the toes themselves. As always, you have your strap handy if you want to use that. Eyes closed. Let's take a couple more breaths here. One more inhale. As you breathe out, take the hands back in towards the body. Left hand's going to come underneath that knee. You're going to bring the knee in towards the chest. Right hand's going to grab hold of the shin, take it over the leg. Making sure both arms are ground here. So we're not lifting one side of the body off, as we'll lose a lot of the stretch there. And then we'll come into that lovely twist. So left hand's going to come out behind you. Grounding down to the fingertips to lengthen through the spine. Inhale, right arm goes up. Exhale, wrap the arm around that bent leg, placing the hand onto the thigh, and then twist. Good stuff. So the gaze over that back shoulder. One more inhale. As you exhale, let's gently take the hands over to the right hand side, taking those counter twists. And then start to come back to center and unravel those legs. Extending the left leg out, give them a bit of a shake. Reaching through your arms now, guys, we're going to take this down to the mat. So keep the core engaged. As you lower, moving one vertebra at a time, nice and gently. You might feel yourself sliding up the mat a little bit, totally normal. Allow the whole back just to come down into the ground. Good stuff. And allow the shoulders, the arms just to fall out to the sides. Allow the feet to fall out to the sides. And give the head a bit of a shake from left to right. Beautiful. We're just going to come into one last little pose before a bit of a relaxation. So it's a yin pose. So yin is a much slower paced form of yoga, and it really opens up into the fascia. So a deeper stretch really helps to hydrate our muscles. So we're going to reach, it's called banana asana, believe it or not, because we make a banana shape with our body. We're going to reach the arms above the head. You're going to grab a hold of your right wrist with your left hand. So grabbing hold of the wrist, and then take the hands over to the left hand side. So you're almost creating that nice kind of curve within the body. You're then going to take your legs in the same direction. Now you might want your feet just to be alongside each other. You might even want to wrap one ankle over the other as well. Eyes closed, you start to notice that lovely lengthening of the right hand side of the body. That's very similar to the stretch that we did at the beginning. And you can replicate this by standing up if you are going to be using this pose or this stretch when you're back at work, kind of back in action. You can always do the standing up, because I'm sure a lot of you wouldn't feel comfortable lying on the floor wherever you work to do this. But for now, while we have the space, while we have our homes to practice in, we can do this. Beautiful. Let's take another deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to come back to center with the arms, come back to center with the legs, and you're going to switch sides. So this time, you're going to take hold of the left wrist with your right hand, take them over to the right, and take the legs over in the same direction as well. Again, if you want to have the feet just resting alongside each other or crossing the ankles, option is yours. Eyes closed. Just enjoy that lovely stretch. One more inhale. As you breathe out, let's come back to center. Just unravel the arms, unravel the legs, letting the arms just come down to the sides of the body. Allowing every muscle and every fiber now just to be supported by the mat, by the earth beneath you. Shoulders relaxed, back of the head just resting comfortably. And I want you to let go of any residual tension you might be storing within the body. So perhaps your jaw, you might be clenching the jaw, just softly release that. Allow the forehead just to relax down, maybe letting the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. Fingers and toes can come naturally. And we'll just take a couple minutes here in total stillness. Really enjoying the fruits of your labor, enjoying kind of relief, energy, the space created from the poses that we came into today. Also let your breath just be natural. The whole body complete ease. Okay. If you'd like to stay where you are in your relaxation, feel free to enjoy a few more moments here. If you're ready to come out of this with me, start to deepen the breath once again, so allowing the belly to softly rise and fall. Bringing yourselves back to the space, back to the room, back to your bodies. You're going to start to bring some gentle movement back into your body. So wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, rotate those wrists, rotate those ankles. Beautiful. And then just maybe gently rock your head from side to side. Easing into the neck, stretching out the neck. Wonderful. Now just bringing your knees in towards your body. Start to roll over onto one hand side. Eyes closed. Make your way up into a nice seated position. Feel free to support yourself with any pillows, any cushions, or blocks of your choice. Once again, let's just sit up nice and tall. Hands can rest wherever feels most natural. And as we close our practice for today, taking a moment to acknowledge that space, the clarity, the consciousness that we've created. Perhaps noticing another sense of ease, sense of lightness. Perhaps even let something shift emotionally, physically. Thank you to each and every one of you for joining me today. Thank you for your light, your energy, your presence. Namaste.